Oilers are on their way to the conference final.
Man. What a game.
Again, they knock off the Vegas Golden Knights in 5. 1-0 overtime victory. Stuart Skinner back-to-back shutouts.
Jacks.
Oh, my God.
Back-to-back Jacks.
Hey.
Oh, my.
Hey, you gotta get a win, yeah. There we go. I had to do it.
Oh, I know you did.
I had to do it. The Nasties showed up tonight.
They did show up.
They were awesome.
They showed up and they showed out tonight.
Yes, they did. So
it was great.
Had to give them a little bit of a shout out there as I adjust the camera. There we go. Welcome to the GCL Diesel Oil Stream post-game show live on location at Hudson's White Avenue. My mom is dancing. My dad's happy. My mom's dancing. There we go. You can text us 780-218-9999. You can get into the nasty chat. Tell us your thoughts on that game, on that series. They're showing the Moss Pit
is going
nuts.
bananas right now.
Yep.
The city is going bananas right now.
The city's going bananas. Tom Gazzola, Shawn, Belle with you. Hernan, Salas back at EST Global HQ. Of course, GCL Diesel, providers of the best diesel electric components around, from turbochargers to injectors, fuel pumps to sensors. They are the critical engine component experts, proud to serve Edmonton and Northern Alberta for over 50 years. Oh my goodness. Calvin C says he wants a 2006 flashback.
No kidding.
We almost got one.
We almost had one.
My goodness, this place is rocking. Big thank you to Connor, Melody, our entire crew here has been awesome. All right, Belsey, what the hell did we just watch?
Wow, what we watched was a defensive gem.
Yeah.
Both teams were obviously very cautious. They didn't want to open it up. Both teams played a really good defensive game. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, it was 1,000% a defensive struggle. And it was great to see the Oilers play that way.
Yep.
Because that just goes back to our point that we had in the pregame where it was, hey, this team is now beginning to play any style that you want.
Good point.
Whether it's physicality, you want that, we can do that, check. You want to play a skill game, we can do that, check, because we have, arguably the two best players in the world. And based off of today, actually, based off of the last two games, they hit shutouts. So clearly their defensive prowess is coming in at the right time.
On top of the puck, right side of the puck, second effort, back checking, we saw all of that. Both sides of the ledger. Golden Knights gave everything that they had.
Yes.
There was a stretch in the third period, you guys, especially in like the last 10 minutes where Vegas seemed they were pressing and they were threatening.
Yep.
You got some big saves from Stu Skinner. There's some sticks in lanes. Belsey, you talked about that. I know we were looking for that, Nanso. And they look poised. So you're talking about them finding ways to win in different scenarios. I thought in the last 10 minutes of the third period, they bent, nowhere near breaking.
100%.
That's how I saw it. Let's get Nanso in, the Latino Heat. Hernan Salas, what'd you make of that game, buddy?
Cappy. Come on, boys, join in. No?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like we all predicted. Yeah. Just like we all predicted.
Hey, good for him, man. Many of us doubted him. Many of us. And he scores a big goal to send the boys into the conference finals. Yeah, we're all guilty, Tom. There wasn't one person who was happy with that move. Well, there might have been a few, but I agree with everything you guys have said. What a performance. What I loved about the Oilers is the back checking, the commitment to like I said, the back checking, the blocking shots, defending well, staying patient. And, Vegas had a push there in the third as well, late in the second. But the Oilers remained, calm and cool and collected. And this is a team that's been there, man. And they didn't win last year, guys, but that experience is second to none, and it's showing through right now. They nothing's ever too big for them. They always play the same way. You got to give – I thought Klimberg was fantastic tonight, boys. Stuart Skinner once again. Back-to-back shutouts. Well, what a redemption for him after all that heat he took after Game 3. It's just great to see. I'm happy for the fans. Hopefully everybody behaves. No fighting. And we get ready for either Winnipeg boys, which would be unreal, tough for them, or the Dallas Stars. It'd be a rematch of last year's conference finals. But how can you not be impressed with this Oilers team, boys? They just, every game, they show us something different. And that all that heartbreak they went through last year, it's coming through this year. I know they got a ways to go still, boys, but you got to be happy if you're an Edmonton Oilers fan. This team is showing it in so many different ways that they can win.
Text us 780-218-9999. Get to the nasty chat. Very well said. Hernan, Salas. Let's go into the scoring summary and game stats from Edmonton's 1-0 victory in overtime over the Vegas Golden Knights. Edmonton wins this series 4-1. No scoring through the first 3 periods. It was tight, like Belzy was talking about. Shots after 1, 8-5 Edmonton. Shots after 2, 18-13 Edmonton. Shots after 3, 24-22 in favor of the Oilers. And then at the end of the night, shots on goal 30-24 in favor of the Oilers. The lone goal coming at 7:19 of overtime, the first overtime and the only overtime tonight. Kasperi Kapanen, his first of the playoffs from Draisaitl and Nurse. Goalmouth scramble. We had people saying, like, is there interference there? Nope, definitely not.
No,
not at all. Aiden Hill sprawled out. Kind of just, we're watching the replay here, Belzy. We're watching.
Kapanen gets a tip.
Yeah.
He continues to battle at the net, and he's not denied.
It's McNabb who goes in and he kind of doesn't allow Hill to even move. Hill's stuck. Yeah. He's sprawled out. He's stuck. The puck's bobbling in and around his feet, and Kapanen from behind the net tucks it in. Just a heady play there. So there you go. Kasperi Kapanen is your hero at the end of round number 2, punching Edmonton's ticket to the conference final. My goodness, that was wild. All right, other shots, or pardon me, not just other shots, other stats. Shots ended up, they just changed the shots to 31-24, by the way, on NHL's website. Faceoffs, 53.1% for Vegas to 46.9% for the Oilers. The Oilers power play 0 for 2 tonight. I thought Vegas did a good job blanketing them. The PK, 1 for 1, so that's 3 straight games, Belzy, where the PK went perfect. Hits, 50-46. In favor of the Golden Knights. Block shots, 23-21 in favor of Vegas. Giveaways, 18-15 in favor of Vegas. Takeaways, 5 for Vegas, 3 for the Oilers. But that 1-0 in favor of the Oilers is all that matters tonight. Belzy, anything else that this team now can, I don't know, is there going to be momentum that goes forward? Is it a confidence thing? Where's Stuart Skinner at right now? Like, what else do we say after a tight checking win?
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of confidence with the Edmonton Oilers and coursing through their locker room. I mean, you put together 2 back-to-back complete games.
Yeah.
You put together 2 back-to-back shutouts. That's confidence building.
Yeah.
Whether we want to talk about momentum or not, you know, in the playoffs, momentum it's hard. It's game to game. And we've seen that over the course of the playoffs, whether it was this year, you know, the year before, the year prior to that, momentum is always game to game. But what you can't deny is that confidence. And for a team like the Oilers, you know, coming into the playoffs, we're all sitting there saying, well, what are they? What are they? And they've consistently gotten better and better and better, and they're just building confidence to the point where, like, can you honestly say, and we talked about it on the Hangout this morning, well, who do you see beating them in 7 games, 4 out of 7?
No one, Belzy.
That's a reality that's happening because the Oilers are now, they're physical. They're hard to beat that way. They have the skill that's required to play a high-paced game, and they have the ability to play defense. And from what we've seen in the last little bit, they've got 2 goaltenders that can carry them in.
Guys, check this stat out. Edmonton improves to 16-2 under head coach Chris Knobloch in games 4 through 7. Like, this team is just like Belzy. I totally, and I've been saying this since the Oilers went up 2-0. Like, I just can't see a team beating these guys four times in 7 games. I can't. Right now, the way they're playing, they can play any way you want. You want to go toe-to-toe and be offensive? Let's go. You want to shut her down and play a 0-0 game? Let's go. Do you know what I mean? Special teams is turning for them. Goaltending. Now you got 2 guys, boys, that are extremely hot. What do you do? And they're healthy. Tom, I know Ekholm's probably late in the 3rd round, but that's a positive as well. Yeah. Like, there's so much going on. Yeah. And more importantly, guys, it was the gentleman's sweep.
Yeah, gentleman's sweep.
Yeah.
The boys.
That's for my boy Reid, who absolutely hates when anyone says that.
Oh, well, tomorrow the boys are going to be just as gentlemen. They're going to be opening doors for one another. They're going to be overly courteous with one another.
Drinking red wine.
In? Bax, are you texting in right now? Is that what I'm seeing? Are you texting into the show right now?
He's not.
He's not. Okay, good. I want to get to this text, though, from Uncle Dave. Hey, boys. Just out of curiosity, does anyone know Skinner's numbers over the past 2 games? I'm not good at math, Uncle Dave, but 1,000 save percentage and 0.00 GAA. Call it a hunch.
Call it a hunch.
I think I got that one. Check mark.
Now, hey, we're very high on the Oilers based off of the 2 performances, and going into the next round, you've got 2 legit opponents, but once again, it would be very tough for you to bring forth an argument to say, based on what you've seen, that the Oilers are going to lose 4 or 7. Not saying it's not going to happen, because there's obviously 2 good teams that you're potentially going to face here. Not potentially, you are going to face. You're going to face one of them.
There are no easy rounds.
There's no easy rounds, and you've mentioned that before. But the way that they're playing, it's just, you pick a style, we'll match it, and that's what you're seeing with the Edmonton Oilers, and they get better every single game, and that's a beautiful thing, and that's what you want to see going into playoffs, because you're peaking at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
This is the breakdown brought to you by South Fort Chev. Go see Daniel and his team in the Fort, and they'll give you $1,000 extra credit on your trade-in. Drive a little, save a lot at South Fort Chev. See dealer for details, www.southfortchev.com. Hernan, sorry, I cut you off there. What did you want to say?
Sorry, guys. Sorry if I keep jumping in. It's just when you guys are, you know how it is on location. Sorry, boys, about that.
Yep.
It's not done. It's not done purposely. Belzy, you just made a good point. Like it's every team's going to be tough. Every team, every round's going to get harder and harder here. But I think the positive for the Oilers is they're healthy and they're only getting better here. I guess I'll ask you. I think Vegas was kind of a crutch for them from 2 years ago, right, guys? And they've gotten over that one. LA was trying to get over the Edmonton one. What's next for this team? Because it might be the Dallas Stars. They beat them last year now. Does Dallas look at it that way? If it's Winnipeg, it's going to be a hell of a all-Canadian battle, guys. But, Belzy, looking to the next round now, what's the Oilers' mentality? Because, like you said, they just keep getting better and better. I don't think they care who they face. They're just going to keep going and continue to get better here.
Yeah, I would say that the mentality is next up. And they clearly have a mission that they have, and they want to try to accomplish it. They, going into the season, we all heard cup or bust, and we all heard that they were disappointed with how the prior season ended, and you hear that over and over and over again, and that it's a one-track mind for them. So I don't think they really care about who's going to be next, whether it's Dallas, whether it's going to be Winnipeg. Sure, the matchup is going to be different. Sure. You've got Dallas, who's obviously is a very fast team. They're a very skilled team. They're a very deep team. But then you've got the Winnipeg Jets, who have been one of the best teams in the NHL from cover to cover. They're a big physical team, and they do have some skill. So I don't think for them it matters what that matchup's going to look like. They want to accomplish what their goal is when they started the season, and that is to be the final team standing. So, they're figuring it out at the right time. Like I mentioned, they're peaking at the right time, and being able to play any style is a big thing for them, because you're going to need that in the next round, because whoever you're facing is going to be a very, very big task.
Okay, let's get to some text here. 780-218-9999. The Oilers knock off the Vegas Golden Knights in 5 games. They get it done tonight, 1-0. Kasperi Kapanen, the overtime winner. You get a Stuart Skinner shutout. And there's a couple things I want to hit on, but I want to get to some text first. Let's go to Stanley and YYC texting in. Says, my bloody heart rate. Great bounce back from 74. Great to see the depth show up. Off to round 3, enjoying a victory. Scotch. RBM says, suck it sideways. 10 ways from Sunday. Golden turds with an in there. Anyway, LOL. What a defensive clinic put on by both teams. Both goaltenders really good. That's playoff hockey in a nutshell. Absolutely no space anywhere. So pumped. We're not only moving on, but that they wrapped it up tonight. So we have Friday night completely free going into the long weekend. LOL. Kapanen. Good for him. He was great in game 4, and look at the effort on that series winner. Way to go from RBM. And RBM talking about the defense, guys, really quickly. I just want to point out that the minute distribution on the back end tonight, Bouchard led the way, 25-44. I thought he was solid again tonight. Brett Kulak, second at 24-50. Then you get Darnell Nurse at 22-42. And then after that, John Klingberg, 21-03. Jake Wallman right there behind him, 21-01. Troy Stetcher gives you 16-17 tonight. So pretty even outside of Stetcher.
Yep.
I think that's a tell of confidence in your back end.
100%. And all of them have deserved that ice time because they've all been good. I mean, there was one play that Wallman got walked, I believe, by Eichel. But outside of really that, there was no glaring mistakes. They managed pucks well. They got him out. They collapsed to the house. They took away lanes. They had great sticks. Like, they played a very solid positional game. They got back to pucks quickly. They were able to move them up without getting hit or taking unnecessary contact. What they did on the defensive end was very, very encouraging tonight.
C-Mac says, Belzola. Yeah. Capping in from waiver wire pickup to series GWG. This one says, what a win. Safe to say the Oilers laid it on the line. Laid it all on the line. Let's go. I'm so tired of that Triumph song.
Yeah.
I saw it about 1 million times yesterday, and then we heard it 1 million times today, but well played there. Brandon from Windsor says, oh my God, LFG, stay oily, boys. Jason says, Hernan, sing La Bamba. What's the deal on that, by the way, just to refresh everybody on the deal that you made with the listeners and viewers?
We'll be singing tomorrow, buddy. Don't you worry about that. And what else was I going to add in there? I totally lost my train of thought. Oh, Tommy, looking ahead.
Yes.
I'm sorry. If Dallas closes out the series tomorrow, what day do you anticipate round 3 kicking off for the Oilers and Stars?
I have not heard anything, and I honestly don't know. It could be Monday. I know there is potential for that.
Okay.
I would imagine it has something to do with whatever happens in the other series, but they could probably turn it around relatively quickly. So,
okay, fair enough.
Yeah, we don't know. I haven't asked. You know what? I can put in an ask now and get an idea. So I can do that right now. 780-218-9999. Coach Mike says, wow. Waiver claim Kapanen wins the series. Stu back-to-back shutouts. Incredible Western final. LFG. Coach Mike and says the whole team had a statement game. Amos Moses says, gentlemen's show coming up tomorrow. Yep. JB says, I thought the Oilers were even better away from the puck tonight than last night that they played, marking everything excellent like a preschool teacher. Stetcher allowing a more even distribution of 5-on-5 time on ice has to be a big part of it. That coming in from JB. And yes, he also adds consummate head-to-head matchup with Rantanen versus McDavid, or maybe Draisaitl versus Rantanen. Jimmy O says, who would have thought Las Vegas would be easier than Los Angeles? 4-1 and 4-2. They're kind of disposing of these teams. Well, not LA wasn't quick, but they rattle off 4 straight. Then this one ends in 5.
Do you think it was easier?
I don't.
I don't know if it was easier either.
Offense was way harder
like
in this series.
Was easier, but offense was hard to come by. Like you just mentioned, I didn't think this was an easier series. I thought it was a very different series.
Absolutely.
You look at that LA series, and the Oilers obviously got out to, they came out, they're down early. They didn't really have their footing.
Yeah.
It's their first time together as a group. They're starting to piece it together, trying to find that right chemistry. So there was different circumstances in that LA series,
right,
which led to obviously it going 6. I'm not sure that was a harder series than this one. This one was suffocating. This one was hard to get to the net front.
Yeah.
This one was big boy hockey at times.
Oh, I thought most of it was big boy hockey.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I just felt it was a very different series. Vegas is a very patient hockey team. Very patient hockey team.
Yeah.
They wait for you to make mistakes, and they got some high-end guys, and they clog it up well. There's similarities between them and the Kings, but they're different.
Really quickly, to follow up on that, do you guys, just to quickly look at Vegas, do you think that they're going to need to change some things going into next year? Like, they obviously probably will. But, Nanso, do you think Vegas needs to rethink things, or do you think that they just continue on with a couple little tweaks?
No, I think they're going to change something, maybe get a little bit younger. Eichel was, let's be honest, Eichel was great. Every time he touched the puck, that guy was dangerous. But I think they got Stone's a little bit older, Petrangelo's older. They got some guys with a lot of miles on that team. I think they need to upgrade. I think they need to solidify that top 6 guys, because the guys they had didn't work out. Brett Howden's going to have that tap in. Haunt him for the rest of the summer, because he had the game on his stick right there. I think that was in the third period, boys. So I do think they need to add a little bit more skill, a little bit more youth. But I on the back end, I think they're fine. They might upgrade and bring in another defenseman. But Aiden Hill's going to be fine, guys. But I don't think they're little tweaks anymore, Tom. I think you're going to see some big moves by the Vegas Golden Knights to make sure that they can go a little bit further in the playoffs.
One guy, turn me up there, Bellsy. One guy that had no points in the last 7 playoff games was Tomas Hertl. Invisible in that series.
Yeah, he might have been banged up.
Think so?
He had a rough ride in that series.
He didn't do anything.
But you're right, Nanso. I'm just looking at this team right now. You've got Eichel at 28, Stone at 33, Hertl at 31, Carlson at 32, Barbashev 29. I mean, Riley Smith is an unrestricted free agent. He's 34. Brandon Saad is an unrestricted free agent. He's 32. Like, there's a lot of miles on this group. But at the same time, the core pieces are all sitting here. Stone's got another 2 years. Hertl's got another 3 years. Carlson, Barbashev, Waugh, Howden, they're all locked in. And even their top 4 defensemen, they're all locked in for a long time. So is this, they're going to ride it out? Is this where we're going to have some changes because we got to get rid of some guys? It'll be very interesting to see what happens in Vegas because they do have a lot of pieces locked up.
Yeah.
But I think they need to get some younger legs.
And Kelly McCrimmon's pretty cutthroat, too.
Yeah.
Okay, a couple of texts, and then we're going to get to Reid Wilkins for Reid's Reid. Al says, hey, Tommy Bellsy, the dumbest thing I have ever seen is the Parkway Tavern buying the 0.4 billboards, 0.4 billboards being down 2-1 in a series. And then I don't know if you saw, Al, but Brewhouse and Icehouse, they bought a billboard saying up 3-1. The odds are in our favor. It was at the Oyo where the billboards went up. So there was a response from
I got a feeling there might be a few more boards up over the next let's call it month that just said you got whooped.
Let's go to this one out of Calgary. Says, I had a feeling it would be Kapanen, Klima-esque hero. All right, keep those coming in.
Tommy, just quickly, do you know the last time Kapanen scored a goal?
December?
January 23rd.
Wow, nice.
He is Peter Klima.
He is, okay, touche. He's rewriting history, but some similarities there. Okay, text us, 780-218-9999. It is the GCL Diesel Oil Stream postgame show, live on location at Hudson's, White Avenue. Gazzola, Belle, Salas and Reid Wilkins hopping on now for Reid's. Reid brought to you by the Edmonton Garrison Memorial Golf and Curling Club. Got some Queen being sung. It's karaoke night. Fall in golfers. Edmonton Garrison Memorial Golf Club is open to the public and memberships are still available. Join the ranks today and experience top-tier golf with a proud military tradition. For more info, visit egmgolf.com to enlist. The host of the Reid Wilkins Show right here from Monday to Friday, 3 to 6 on Edmonton Sports Talk with Jay Milne joins us. Reid, Rick, just some initial thoughts as the Oilers defeat the Golden Knights in 5 games after a crazy defensive game.
Well, yeah, I thought it was an incredible game is in terms of commitment and desperation, and nobody wanted to make a mistake, and very good goaltending when there was a chance by both Hill and Skinner. I just think that was a sign of 2 veteran teams who, have a lot of players with a lot of playoff games under their belts in the last 4 or 5 years, just understanding, okay, we can't be the team that falls behind. There's been some comebacks in this series, but we can't be the team coming back from 2-0 down. We need to be patient and make the big play, whether it's off a turnover or off a bounce or off a jam play around the net. Just a really compelling game to watch in terms of how both teams were very committed to it. Stuart Skinner has 2 consecutive shutouts in the playoffs.
Yep. Quite
frankly, guys, I don't care what happened in the regular season right now. That's a conversation for the next regular season. I mean, he has
good point.
He has not allowed a goal in his last 2 games. And tonight, if he would have allowed 1 goal, his team would have lost. So the stakes were very high tonight. And he was excellent. He looks comfortable. He looks like he's moving well. He doesn't have that sort of hope to make the save type feeling that you saw sometimes in the regular season. So excellent for him. And then what more can you say about some of the depth players and Knobloch putting in the right guy at the right time, and he comes through. I mean, Kapanen played well in Game 4, and tonight he gets the game winner. And I missed you guys at the very, very beginning, so I'm not sure if you broke down the overtime winner or not. But
no, we didn't. Go ahead.
Like, a great play by Podkolzin, first of all, to wait just a second and get the puck across to Draisaitl so that play could start. And that, I would think, Bellsy, you'll know better than me because you've actually played in games, not just NHL 87 like me. That was like before there were even numbers. I had Wayne Gretzky's hockey. That was the one I had. They didn't even have years on it because we only have the data to make one. There was no room out there, and you so often a player would get the puck along the boards in the offensive end, and he would just rim it because he knew he had no time, and he knew there was no room to get to the puck to that, so they would just rim it and try to get a forecheck going. Podkolzin took a second, realized he had time to make a play, find Draisaitl coming in, and then Nurse's shot at the net. And I know, because I do it myself, and I think other people do it. Sometimes Nurse's little wristers are frustrating, right? But in that case, it was the perfect shot because there was traffic around the net, and he just got it in there to create some chaos. And Tom, you and I have talked about this a lot throughout the year, that, and it comes up with a lot of our audience members as well. Like, how many times sometimes does it feel like the Oilers need to go D to D before they take a shot?
Yes, they do.
And in that case, Nurse just no, on net. Like, don't wait, on net. There's bodies there. I'm not sure if it hit Kapanen or the Vegas defender on the way in, but then Hill can't field it cleanly, and then Kapanen just with the ultimate mucky goal to finish. So an amazing win, and like you guys touched on, having the days off, not giving Vegas life, and then not having to play a game. Now on Friday night, the Oilers cannot lose a game. Nobody has to take a body check. No one has to kill a penalty. No one has to block a shot. No one has to get punched in the mouth in the scrum in front of the net. So I also think just the bonus, and Dallas might finish it in 5 tomorrow too, fair enough,
sure. Yeah.
But still a bonus for the Oilers to finish this off in a relatively short series.
I have a question for both of you guys and maybe our listeners as well, but I know we talk about momentum and it doesn't necessarily carry over game to game. Every game is its own thing. I get that. I respect that. What about belief?
Well, that carries.
On top of confidence. Go ahead, Bellsy.
Yeah, no, that definitely carries. the belief in your teammates to get the job done, understanding and knowing, hey, we've got a job done. I try not to, when I get on shows like this, hearken to my past. I never try to call on it. But what it does remind me of is my second year World Juniors. Like, we didn't talk about, hey, we want to win this tournament. We never talked about it. It was never said. But what was basically, it was an unwritten rule of, hey, you're going to do everything in your power to win this tournament. And what I'm watching from the Oilers and the way that they are able to adapt to a lot of different scenarios. Okay, today we're going to just run you out of the rink. Check. Today we're going to play a defensive gem. Check. Today we're just going to outscore you. And we're never going to quit. And we're going to be relentless. That stuff it's a big deal, because from a belief standpoint, you know that there's no time that you're ever out of a game. And when you consistently do that, and I'm going to rewind back to the Kings series, when you consistently do that, the team is throwing the kitchen sink at you, and they're feeling it, and all of a sudden you just come back. That is a hard thing to deal with, because it's like, this team will not go away, and they consistently get better. And if that's what the Oilers are doing, and that's a belief in the locker room, and there's buy-in to that, it makes them a very, very dangerous hockey team.
Reid, what would you say about belief? That was well said, Bellsy. Well said. I like the reference back to the World Junior team. That team was dominant. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think that's a great point by Shawn. And I think that in terms of belief carrying over from game to game, I think it's beyond that. And Hernan was touching on this sooner. I think for a lot of the core players on the Oilers, and then some of the older players they've bought in, it's something they have learned over the years, and it's come with experience. It's come with pain. It's come with losing a 3-0 lead in the last 4 minutes to Anaheim. It's come from losing a 4-1 lead in the third period to Winnipeg. And I'm not saying the Oilers are never going to have a disappointing loss again, but it comes from recognizing the type of game that you're in and trusting each other that you have the skill to play. Like, you make a great point, Shawn. Like, I doubt the players talk about the process, right? Like, a coach doesn't go in and say, okay, guys, let's win tonight. No, he puts the 3 points on the board that you need to remember that are part of the process of winning. And I always, you guys know, I always quote Rob Brown, because I was lucky enough to work with him for 11 years. Like, he said, there were nights, him and his teammates in the warm-up would be like, don't have the legs tonight, guys. We're not going to be flying around. We got to win 2-1. Okay, like, puck's out. Nobody goes hero mode. Nobody tries to go end to end. We're probably not going to get a 2-on-1 because we're tired or whatever, and they're going to check us. So figure out the type of game that you have to win. And that, look, close game, could have gone the other way, but there was never a sense, quite frankly, by either team. There was never a sense of panic by either team, and I think that's what, again, made it such a compelling game to watch.
All right, 780-218-9999. Get into the conversation. The Oilers win it 1-0 and win the series 4-1. Let's go inside the Oilers locker room. Hernan, did you want to add to the belief thing, or do you want to just go into the locker room? I'll leave that up to you. What do you think?
Let's go with Stuart Skinner right now.
Let's do it.
Playing so well defensively in these last few games.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. The way that we've competed, the amount of block shots. I mean, in the first, I think 3 minutes, we had 5 block shots. It's, those are the things that it takes to win games. So all the credit goes to the guys in front of me, for sure.
What does it do for your confidence to come into the series kind of cold just a little bit and get 2 consecutive shutouts? Yeah,
it's good. Really happy that I was able to come in and give my team a chance to win, and obviously being able to do it in 5 is huge. So again, just the guys' support and the way that they played in front of me is massive.
This is the recipe that you've had before. Start the playoffs, sit down for a couple games, come back in and play excellent. Does it feel like, do you feel comfortable in this? Is this a role you can get used to?
I don't think I want to do it like this too often. But I mean, it happens. It's the nature of the game. It's the nature of the position that I'm in. But yeah, being able to come back in, no matter what the scenario is, and being able to have that resiliency in me is something that I can be proud of. And Yeah, I mean, again, it's so much has to do with how the guys are playing in front of me. I mean, the way that they've played ever since I've come back in is, again, impressive.
Pretty cagey game. How'd you kind of see it?
Cagey game?
Cage, yeah. Like,
what do you mean?
There wasn't a lot of. Everyone looked like they were playing it safe at times, dumping the puck in, dumping the puck out. Not a lot of flow, I guess.
Yeah, I think. Well, I mean, it was just a grind of a game. I mean, that's playoff hockey as well, I think, especially in the scenario that they were in. They're fighting for their lives. We're trying to, get something going on. So a lot of back and forth, lots of dump ins. I mean, they're stifling defensively, and we are too. So the fact that we're able to, that there was so many dump ins just, shows you how good of teams the two teams are.
I'm so sorry about that. How do you describe Kasperi Kapanen as a teammate? Of course, first year with the Oilers, and then has to wait a little bit before drawing into the playoffs, and now scores a series for you.
Yeah, another guy that just shows you how resilient he is. Being out of the lineup and then coming in and being a real factor both nights. So. I mean, I'm so proud of him. He's a heck of a sewer ball player. I mean, he works so hard. He's got an incredible shot. He's a really funny guy in the dressing room. He's just all around good dude. So super, super happy for him.
How would you describe what it took from you guys in this dressing room to beat Vegas in 5? Because a lot of people had this going on.
Yeah. A lot of it had to do with our maturity and our game plan and sticking to it despite the results that maybe was going to come our way. And I think the way that we honestly, a lot of it has to do with us coming from LA into this series. The way that we had that momentum coming in and being able to play that type of desperate hockey has been, has done us really well. It always gives us a chance to win.
So the TSI told us a bunch of times that this team, in order to kind of take the next step, has to be comfortable with defending and being okay with withstanding some offensive pressure from the other team. How would you describe kind of that growth that's happened with this team over the last little while?
Yeah, I mean, we've been getting better and better at that every single game. I really believe that. It's been a process to get to where we are today, and I truly believe we took another step even tonight. So again, shows a lot of character in the room.
Third conference final in 4 years for you guys. Just can you have a thought on moving on and getting another crack at?
Yeah, it's another chance for us, another great opportunity in front of us, and again, it's just sticking to what we're doing, playing the right way, not getting caught up in that it's the third round, and just it's another hockey game where we get to play and we get to fight for each other.
All right, that's Stu Skinner. Another shutout tonight. 2 consecutive shutouts for the Oilers netminder coming in for the injured Calvin Pickard. And he has been good these last couple of games, without question. Cracking jokes about Kasperi Kapanen, sewer ball skill.
I bet he is really good.
Yeah, I caught that one. Really quickly, a couple of texts. I saw Dallas from Nelson says he's got something cooking. He's got a tune cooking.
Oh.
And then Dusty says, I may or may not have produced a gentleman's sweep song in that last 10 minutes. Everyone, you hate the gentleman's sweep. What's going on here, Reid? I'm late to this party. Tell me about this.
It's not a real thing. Like, a 5-game series is not a gentleman's sweep. Like, to me, it implies that the winning team allowed the losing team to win a game or let the foot off the gas in a series in which they were dominant. So, they would get a win perhaps in game 4 on home ice. So I abhor the term, quite frankly.
Isn't a gentleman's sweep the same thing as a reverse sweep?
No, that reverse sweep is what the Oilers would have done to Florida in the final.
Yeah.
Coming back from 3-0 down, which actually makes more sense than a gentleman's sweep. But
so a reverse or a gentleman's sweep is that you just allow them to have a game and then you win the other four games, or however that breaks down. You get your 4 games.
This is the only parameters for a gentleman's sweep that I will kind of accept. There's a discrepancy between the two teams. The better team dominates the first 2 games on home ice, goes into the other team's building in games 3, still wins fairly convincingly, maybe lets off the gas, thinking it's over, and the weaker team wins game 4. They go back to the higher seeds rink for game 5, and they promptly take care of business.
Yeah.
This was not a gentleman's sweep by
Dusty,
any stretch.
Dusty pointed out that Reid, Edmonton scored Vegas's only game-winning goal of this series.
Yes, he's not the first person to bring up that argument. Thank you, Dustin.
Okay.
Nor will he be the last to bring that argument up.
Yeah. Stuart Skinner there. I know people have had issue, Reid, with like his post-game demeanor and comments and what he says. They even brought it up after the last win. Like tonight, I'm liking Stu Skinner post-game. Doesn't seem rattled. I know people don't kind of understand his mindset. He likes to preach positivity, but what can you say to reading into too much of what he says post-game?
Yeah, well, look, I think he's being genuine. I think he's being himself. So, and if people don't like that's fine. If you don't like how someone talks or behaves, I mean, that's life. But I think he's being genuine, which I think is refreshing, because what do athletes often get accused of? Well, they just mumble their way through interviews and don't say anything.
Yeah.
We hear that about McDavid all the time. Well, he never says anything, and they give cliche answers. I mean, Skinner thinks about the answer and tries to be as honest as he can. And I understand if fans don't want to hear him admitting that he was nervous, or I think when Bedard scored on him last year as a rookie, he said, well, now I know what it's like to have Connor Bedard score a goal on me, so now I store that in the memory banks. I think if you want to know a little bit more about Stuart Skinner, look up a guy named Ryan Holiday, who is somebody whose books Stuart Skinner has read and who is a scholar, I guess, of stoicism.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to go into Ryan Holiday's career in stoicism because I'm no expert on it, but if you got a moment later or tomorrow at your computer or on the long weekend, look up Ryan Holiday and stoicism. I think those are some of the teachings that Stuart Skinner follows.
Okay, I'm going to read a couple texts here. Dirty Curdy says, Unsung Heroes got this done. Kapanen on the winner. Stu on his redemption tour. Knobloch with a masterclass in deployment. Epic team defense and commitment to do the dirty work. This has all the right feels. Get well, Viking. My Viking. That's from Dirty Curdy. And then Stan texting in saying they have learned from all the heartbreaks in the last 3 years. Colorado, Vegas, Florida. They have learned what it takes to win. And then Mike from New Brunswick says Tom might be the most titled goaltender stats ever for Skinner, or tilted goaltender stats ever for Skinner. The new NHL is so, quote unquote, next man up for goaltenders. Oil have two capable tendies. That's from Mike in New Brunswick. Did you want to add something?
Let's remember this energy.
Okay.
Just in case something goes sideways in the next series.
LZ.
Sorry.
No, you're right.
I just want to point that out. Like, I don't know. Like, I love the vibes and the positivity from the fans, and it's like everybody's won. I appreciate that. I love it. But let's just make sure that we have the exact same if something goes sideways. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay. All right, we're going to go back inside the Oilers locker room. We've got Conor McDavid ready to go. More with Reid, Belle, and Hernan on the other side. Let's hear from the captain.
Defensive play over these last two games.
I thought it was great. I thought everyone dug in really hard. I thought Stu was great, bailed us out whenever we had a breakdown. The kill was great. Defensively really, really good.
What does Stu coming in and pitching 2 straight shutouts in such important games, a series clincher, mean to this team?
Well, hopefully it shuts a lot of people up that were talking about him, first and foremost. But, we've always had belief in him, comes in and pitches 2 shutouts. Can't say enough good things.
To see Kasperi getting the winning goal in overtime, is it a great administration of the game?
Absolutely. A guy that didn't start the series playing, comes in and is asked to play in a big role, and finds a way to get a goal there, a huge goal. Really good.
I think a lot of people saw this game going longer than 5. The series going a lot longer than 5 games. What does it say about your team that you were able to play Vegas the way that you did?
There's probably a lot of people that thought it was going to go longer than 5, and probably not a lot of people that thought we would win. It's nice to keep on rolling, keep on proving people wrong. we got a lot of belief in this room. It's fun to be part of.
Connor, you asked obviously about the way you guys have defended the last couple of games, but it just seems like there's been a natural progression over the last couple of years even. Have you seen that, the way that you guys defend and feel more comfortable defending as a group?
I mean, how many times are we going to answer this question, really? Honestly, that's frustrating that we keep talking about this. We can defend. We can. We've showed that time and time again. Come into a tough building and win a 1-0 game when it matters most. We can play that way. We can score goals. We can, whatever it takes, we can win games.
Do you, I know it's a different year and different players and stuff. Does this team look different than last year's team and perhaps maybe a little bit better, maybe a little bit deeper? What do you think at this stage of the game?
Tough to compare. I know we got a good team. Obviously we keep showing it. We've beaten 2 really, really good teams. LA, Vegas, obviously. And we've done it largely kind of grinding through special teams. PK's been battling the power play, struggled all series long, and that's a new story for you guys to write too. 5-on-5, we've been really, really good.
You have a thought on going to the conference final for the 3rd time last 4 years?
Not really excited, obviously. Excited. We keep putting ourselves in good positions and keep giving ourselves a chance. We keep knocking at the door. That's all you can do. Keep giving yourself a chance.
All right, there's the captain, Conor McDavid. A bit feisty there. Woo. Quote, hopefully it shuts people up about him, unquote, in regard to Stu Skinner. Adds a lot of belief in this room. You pointed at me when he said that. And then he also added something to the effect of, I don't know how many times we need to talk about this, but we can defend. Reid, your reaction to what McDavid had a lot to say there. I was impressed with how feisty he was.
He didn't use a lot of words, but he actually said stuff.
Yeah.
I told this story on my show a few days ago, and I think it warrants repeating here, or if people didn't hear it. I did a radio hit with a Vegas radio show, I think after game 2, and the host said, the Oilers, I don't even remember, what was it, 4-2 in game 1, and then the second game was the 5-4 wild overtime game. And he said, we all know the Oilers have bad goaltending and shoddy defense. Can they keep winning with offense? And I said, it's a bit of an antiquated, I don't think I used that word, but I said it's a bit outdated that the Oilers can't play defense. I said, yes, their goaltending for large portions of this season was subpar. Fair enough.
Yep.
They don't have a sexy Vezina winner in net or a Hellebuyck or an Ottinger. But when they can play well defensively, it's a little unfair to say they don't know how to play defense and can't take away the front of their net and can't defend down low. Are they as good as some other teams? Maybe not, but I don't think they're terrible at it. They have terrible nights, but this is also the way the NHL is going. I think offense is winning over defense a lot of times, especially in the regular season, and I think especially in the first round when you weed out some teams. I think the Toronto Maple Leafs most of the season have been a very good defensive team. They gave up 6 tonight, and I know it wasn't their number, but sometimes teams get scored on, and you might have to go to the offensive well or score 4 or 5 instead of 2 or 3 to win. So I'm kind of glad he said that, and it is. I understand. Usually I would always try to side with the person asking the question, but I understand why McDavid, because how many times are they going to have to answer that? This isn't them getting eliminated in 2020 by Chicago when they couldn't stop the Jonathan Taves from scoring on them, or whatever. It's
Dominic Kubalik
totally
and
different.
Hugh Suter.
Yeah, or whoever. They needed 2 stingy, hard-working, low-event type games to win this series, and they delivered 2 games in a row. And his comment about Skinner, I think, that's just him standing up for for his teammate and reminding people, Skinner has been pretty good most of his young career. About 2/3 of this year, he wasn't very good. But now he's, again, won the 2 biggest games of the year without allowing a goal.
I want to read this text. It comes in from Deaky Sparks. Says, as much as I like to criticize Stu, I'll give the guy the credit because this is 2 years in a row where he stole the show in the playoffs. This year better than the last. He reminds me of Corey Crawford, who I also thought wasn't elite and just average, and then he'd shove it in my face come playoffs. And we all could hope the Oilers could go on a run like those Blackhawks teams. Enjoy the long weekend, Oilers fans. Bumbo says, I love Stewie, but I was watching the TV as well, and it gave the save percentage for the playoffs, and it was an 885 with back-to-back shutouts. Awesome. That's a 180 for sure. Yeah, I mean, we're not denying it. We're not going to avoid that whatsoever and blind to it. Go ahead, Belsey. What do you got to say?
No, I mean, I don't disagree with any of those points, and we've known that the Oilers can defend. I don't think people have said, hey, this team can't defend ever. What I think people say is that, hey, we've seen you do it. Why don't you do it on a consistent basis? I think that's the reality of that situation. And so, hey, I'm just as pumped as anybody because we've talked about it. They're showcasing the fact that they can play any way that you want and win. And they're comfortable doing it. And that is a massive, massive piece of the puzzle, especially if you're looking to have success moving forward in the playoffs.
Nanso, you want to get in here on any of this?
No, I just it was interesting just watching McDavid and annoyed, I guess, serious, not celebrating much. But again, guys, we already talked about the experience, the maturity of this group. They know they got a ways to go here, right? It's step 2 of these playoffs, getting through the second round, and I kind of share Reid's sentiment there. Like it's when you hear the same question every playoffs, it's like we've always said, they can defend when they want to, guys. They do it really well. It's just during the regular seasons at times they take some breaks from defending, and that's okay. Because the big picture is as long as you're doing it consistently in the playoffs, that's all we care about. So
that's okay. Really, I mean, in December or January,
they kind of took some time off from defending there after the 4 nations, but I think they're good now. So it's interesting to see him that upset or moody, whatever you want to call it. But hey, that's Conor McDavid.
The Oilers are the first team into the conference final. We await the results from Carolina and Washington. 3-1 Carolina leads that series. Florida's up 3-2 after smacking the Leaves around tonight. And then you've got Winnipeg and Dallas. Winnipeg looking to stay alive, down 3-1. Dallas looking to make a repeat of last year's conference final. Reid, this next round, what do you think for the Edmonton Oilers? Just give us a brief thought, because it's either Dallas, likely Dallas, but maybe even Winnipeg.
Yeah, well, make the most of the rest. And I really think the Oilers can beat anybody. I really do. I'm not guaranteeing anything. I don't think I'm being cocky. I think that's a realistic statement. The Oilers can beat anybody, and I think they will be very hard to beat 4 times in 7 games. I think both Dallas and Winnipeg are threats, though, obviously. I mean, the winner of that series is going to be playing pretty well. Dallas, I think Dallas is a very good team, because I think that they can kind of beat you any way you want to play as well. If the score starts getting ramped up or they need to come from behind, they have offensive players. They have Rantanen now. They have, some rugged old men like Jamie Benn and some of those guys that have been through the playoff battles. And obviously Ottinger is a pretty good goaltender. And I do think, DeBoer has proven himself year after year to be a pretty good coach. And it looks like it's going to be Dallas. But, I mean, that would be compelling. 2nd year in a row and all the storylines going along with that.
What about on the Eastern Conference side of things, guys? Is it as simple as saying Carolina versus Florida, and Florida walks through Carolina? What do you think, Belsey?
Carolina's been putting the smackdown on Washington. They've been suffocating Washington can't get anything going. So I've actually been really, really impressed with the way that the Carolina Hurricanes are playing hockey right now. They're potentially going to run into the Florida Panthers. The Florida Panthers they're awesome. They're a great hockey team, and they're actually getting better as well because they had a number of injuries. Do I think that if hypothetically it turns into, a Florida-Carolina series, do I think Florida's going to run right over them? I actually don't, because I've been very, very encouraged with the way that Carolina has been playing. That's hard hockey. And it's not like they've been overly physical. They're just extremely suffocating.
Reid, are you preparing anything special for the gentleman's sweep celebration tomorrow? I'm sorry, buddy. I'm so sorry.
Well,
final thoughts.
Usually I'm on the Nielsen show on Thursdays.
Yes.
But I have an eye appointment tomorrow morning, so my appearance got bumped to Friday, which is probably good. I can cede my airtime tomorrow to more gentleman sweep celebrations.
Well, I'll tell you what, you were a gentleman tonight. Always great to have you on the postgame show for Reid's Reid. Get some rest, my friend, and I'll see you in studio tomorrow, okay?
Thank you, Tom, Shawn, and Hernan.
There you go. Reid Wilkins from the Reid Wilkins Show. Monday to Friday, 3 to 6 with Jay Mill right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Reid's Reid brought to you by Edmonton Garrison Memorial Golf and Curling Club. Get those texts in 780-218-9999. The Oilers win 1-0 in overtime. Kasperi Kapanen, the hero, over the Vegas Golden Knights. Edmonton punching its ticket to the third round. A couple of texts really quickly. Nanso, do we have more audio to get to in the room?
No, nothing yet that's come on their YouTube, yeah.
Okay, let's go to Greg, the sound guy. Says, stressful way to get it done, but wicked, huge win. Bring on round 3. Have a great show, fellas. JCD says, sick of the media's pissy McDavid. JCD 780 says, also save percentage is lower all around because the NHL doesn't credit shots the same way because they don't like me betting on 16-leg shot parlays. JCD 780, maybe don't do 16-leg shot parlays. Yeah. Let's go to Collingwood Rob, says TG. Collingwood Rob with my wife Moira just outside of Ketchikan, Alaska, repping EST with the thumb. Go Oilers, go. That's awesome. Thumb. Click. Also says, what a win watching Oilers while sailing in the Pacific on our way to Juneau, Alaska. Calculated win. Great text, Collingwood Rob. Thank you. Awesome photo. Thank you for sharing that with us. This one from the Doc says, Connor just channeled 90s Jordan in that interview. He is cold-blooded and all business. That's from the Doc. And then Depth of Department of Nuge Defense says, wow, Conor McDavid a bit pissy tonight. Cal in the Park says, gentlemen, what a game and what a performance from Stewie Skins. The break will do this team good. Getting ready for round 3. I know the Nasties need it. The Nasties turned out tonight. They were in one, having a great time. Our boy Baron texting in says, let's go, Tommy and Bellsy. Is a whiskey, beer, and work type of night? Yep, definitely sounds like it. And with the OT shutout, does Skinner have 6 scoreless periods? Or 7? That does count as a scoreless period. Yeah, it does.
It does count as a scoreless period.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, you technically got 7.
Yeah, so 7 in a row. Hernan, anything else you want to get to?
Hey, I just got tagged in a video on X. Los Lobos are in town tonight, Tommy, down at the River Cree Resort and Casino. Of course, the sponsor of our inbox in the afternoon. And it's a video of them singing La Bamba, and they're all wearing Oiler jerseys. Looks pretty cool. The crowd's going wild.
No way.
Yeah, so it's good. It's pretty cool that they're in town. Too bad they can't be here for an actual game. That would have been unbelievable. Just a few stats to throw your way, guys. In the Oilers' last 6 wins, McDavid and Draisaitl only have 11 points and 2 goals combined. You know what that says? Depth. Kapanen is the 4th European to score a playoff OT goal for the Oilers and 2nd to score a series-winning OT goal. Can you name the other 3?
Say again.
Kapanen is the 4th European to score a playoff OT goal for the Oilers.
Oh, okay. Unless you want to guess, but Klima's one.
Okay.
Do you want
European?
European.
What about Samsonov?
Did he score an OT winner in the playoff?
I feel like he probably did.
All right.
I can't confirm
Okay,
that.
okay, we're gonna guess 4 names, and then you can tell us if we're right or wrong after we guess 4 names.
Klima, Tikkanen.
Yeah, and you said Samsonov.
I'm going to say Samsonov in there. And
Yari
Curry.
Yari Curry.
All right, how many did we get right?
It's not Samsonov, though.
Well, that sucks.
Terrible guess. Okay, who were they?
Tikkanen, Curry, and Peter Klima.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so we nailed it.
We added one more that was incorrect, so that's what we did. Wowzers. And now add in Kasperi Kapanen into that mix. Duffman texting says, don't necessarily want to look past the conference final, but if we get to the cup final, we have home ice advantage. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
Yeah. What do you think of that, Hernan? Because that is a possibility. If they get to the cup final, they would have home ice.
Oh man, yeah, I didn't even think of that. Wow, that'd be quite the story. And guys, I'm being honest. Like, I know we're talking like Belle, you're talking about Carolina. They've been really good. I shouldn't discount Toronto because they're still in the series. But I'm looking at the 4 teams left there, and if the Oilers can make it all the way there, I honestly think whoever wins the West is winning the Cup, boys. There's 3 teams left.
I don't disagree with you. When I look at Toronto, I see like the Oilers light. They have high-end skill. I don't know if their defense is good. I don't think they're playing as good as the Oilers are currently. I just don't think they can play any style like the Oilers can.
Yeah.
I think that Florida can. They've got the experience. So they would present a very, very big challenge. And then Carolina is just a suffocating hockey team. I don't think they have the high-end talent that the Oilers do, or even the Stars do. So, yeah, if you think about it, yeah, I would agree. It probably is staying in the West, or it's coming to the West, not staying.
And guys, just a correction on that trivia. It's actually not Curry, it's Draisaitl.
Oh, well, yeah, fair enough.
Jesus. Oh, my God. Idiots. I'm laughing at all the shade being thrown at Toronto right now, just selfishly.
I love it.
Me too. It's kind of funny. Okay, we got to do some business here. We got to get to the turning point of the game, brought to you by Advantage Sport Medicine and Physiotherapy. Conor McDavid's got a team of specialists. If you got a bag of frozen peas, bit of a difference there. Get the same locker room approach that's trusted by the best in the game at Advantage Sport Medicine. Book your assessment today at www.advantagesportmed.ca or call 780-460-9977. I think this one's pretty obvious. I mean, I'll give a shout out to Stuart Skinner making some big saves throughout the game, but then, in overtime, it is one of those Europeans who scored an overtime winner in the playoffs for the Oilers. Kasperi Kapanen, the only goal of the game at 7:19 to send the Oilers off into the 3rd round. Nurse and Draisaitl picking up the helpers on Kapanen's first of the playoffs. That is the Advantage Sport Medicine and Physiotherapy turning point of the game. Hernan, let's get right into the player of the game, brought to you as always by Damon Bunting Real Estate. Damon Bunting, top producing realtor in the greater Edmonton area for over 17 years. He and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current home. Check him out, DamonBunting.com, or visit his Instagram at Damon Bunting Real Estate.
Yeah, I can't decide, Tom. Song. Is it okay if I pick 2 guys?
Yes, of course.
Okay. I'm going to go with Stuart Skinner. I mean, back-to-back shutouts, guys. It's just unreal, especially in the playoffs against a very good team like the Vegas Golden Knights. And sharing the Damon Bunting player of the game today is going to be Kasperi Kapanen. I mean, he scores the OT winner, boys. He was really good in the other game the other night. He had 5 shots on net. He had 3 hits, and he becomes a bit of a hero here in Edmonton, scoring the series clinching goals. So Kasperi Kapanen, Stuart Skinner, they will share the Damon Bunting Player of the Games for the agency.
Go ahead, Belzer.
Great picks. It would be, it would be a sneaky one? John Klingberg.
Yes.
Really?
I thought he would be a sneaky pick. I fully agree with the ones that you have, but I thought he was really good tonight. Like, he controlled the game. He controlled the pace of play. He made a lot of great passes. He just was, he looks good. And it's been a terrific find for the Edmonton Oilers.
I want to see Jake Wallman. Did he pick up another plus? Was he on the ice for that one? I don't think he was. No, he wasn't. It was Klingberg and Nurse on the ice for that game winner. So, but Wallman and Klingberg have found something there.
There's definitely something there, and they're feeding off each other, but I don't know what happened over the course of Klingberg all of a sudden not playing, and then he gets inserted into the lineup, and he just seems like he's brand new. I don't know, those hips must have just clicked in at the right point, because this guy is he's dancing on the ice. He's making unbelievable reads. He's calm. He's poised. Like, he's doing a lot of good things, and it's adding so much composure to the back end.
Corey B texts in, says, we need a Bellsy shirt that says, I don't disagree with you.
I don't disagree with you.
Duffman texting in.
Until I do.
Yeah, that's a good point. Duffman says, I don't necessarily want to look past the conference final, but if the Oilers go to the Cup final, they do have home ice advantage. Says, I should note that the home ice occurs if things stay the course in the East. Only Toronto or Washington take home ice over Edmonton. So Carolina and Florida, and if one of those two teams makes it to the Cup final, and Edmonton does advance past the third round, Edmonton in that situation would have home ice advantage. Corey, different Corey says, is Dry not considered to be European, or was it series clinching? Yeah, we totally blew that one.
Yeah. You blew it.
We blew it. Rye guy says this. Eichel was on one tonight. How many between the legs or toe drag dekes did he do? Playing like NHL 25 out there. Way to weather the storm. Anyone else hoping for an Oilers versus Kane series for our 2006 revenge? P.S. Thank you for charging my phone at Hudson's Gazzola. Looking as handsome as ever. Go Nasties. That's from Rye guy. Thank you, Rye guy. No problem. Happy to help charge your phone.
I kind of, sure, we can have that 06 rematch.
I'm over it.
But I want Florida.
You want Florida?
I want the revenge tour. I want that rat to Chuck to have to eat every single one of his words. Yeah, no, I want revenge tour.
Look who texted in.
I want all the smoke. Oh, look at this guy.
Our buddy Jared from Modern says, what a great game. Say hi to your parents and everybody for me. Jared from Modern says, we keep thinking about how tough Dallas or maybe Winnipeg could be moving forward, but you have to think they may be pooping in their britches a little bit about playing the Oilers. Do you think teams are looking at the Oilers that way, like Jared brings up?
I think teams view the Oilers differently than they did before.
That's a good point. I agree. So we're on the air right now. Sorry.
I saw a clip with Doug Armstrong talking, and they're doing like some trades, and the trade deadline went through, and he mentioned, he's like, well, the Oilers still the top dog.
Yeah.
And I looked at, I was watching it, and I was like, well, that's an interesting quote, because at the time the Oilers weren't necessarily playing the best, but now that you see the pieces that have all kind of slotted in, and how they're a very different lineup to what finished the regular season, it's hard not to agree with that commentary.
Right.
So hey, I like where they're at, and I don't worry about what kind of matchup is coming up.
Fair. Fair, and we've said that a couple times. Let's go to Chantel in Calgary. Says, despite getting in a plethora of chances tonight, Draisaitl just seems off to me. He seems to be very calculated when he puts it into gear and floats a lot more than normal, which makes me think he is definitely nursing an injury. I will reiterate, I've had multiple people from the Oilers tell me when they could easily have the excuse to say, yeah, he's banged up, say, no, he's not. It is possible that guys play bad, even the best players in the world, and have struggles.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought he was hurt. I brought it up. I had one person say, is he? And then I had another come up to me and be like, hey, remember that Leon thing? Well, no, he's not banged up. So sure, bumps and bruises, but I know a lot of people want to say he's injured. Again, I'm just telling you what I've been told from multiple people within the team that have no reason to BS me. He's not. He's fine. It's okay. He can play bad sometimes. And he's still third in NHL playoff scoring.
Yeah.
In the play. Yeah, so Mark from Arizona says, hey, gents, I'm with Shawn. Let's remember this energy and let's hope they keep it. The power play, if the power play can get going, this team will be incredibly hard to beat. Go Oilers and cheers. Is it the Oilers power play that's not clicking, or is it Vegas had such a great scheme and system on the PK?
A little of column A and a little of column B. I thought that Vegas did a very good job, especially on their penalty kill forecheck, staying above guys, matching speed, challenging them at the blue line, forcing them to make plays that were under duress and not they weren't comfortable ever on the power play. So I do think they did a great job, but you also know that the Oilers are able to handle pressure because teams have consistently tried to throw pressure at them. So I do think it's a little bit of both.
Are we worried about the power play, Hernan?
No. I mean, you need a lot more movement, right? Like today, I know Louis brought it up. Like two stationary guys. It's kind of every time this power play goes into a bit of a funk. It's Conor McDavid circling, no one really moving their feet, and kind of looking always for that backdoor one-timer from Draisaitl. So they got to get on their horse here. They got to find different ways to get creative on the power play because all the teams have the scouting on them, guys. They know exactly what they're going to do. So they just gotta move better movement for sure. But I wouldn't say I'm worried, but they got to get it going here because they haven't scored a power play goal, guys, on the road this playoffs. That's got to change if you're going to go all the way, right? So We'll see what they can do. Better at home, obviously, like dynamite at home. But for some reason on the road, they just can't finish on the power play.
Eddie from Richmond Hill sent in a Peak Blackburn tweet that says, Leon Draisaitl was the last player to score a goal for the Vegas Golden Knights. That's pretty funny. And then he also adds, I am so proud of this team. Complete effort, start to finish. That's Eddie from Richmond Hill. All right, we're going to start with you, Bellsy. Final thoughts after the Oilers wrap up this series in 5 games.
Fantastic series. It was great to see the Oilers, their game round out. Like I've mentioned multiple times, I thought they got better and better and better as the series went on. It started obviously with the LA series, and they've just continued to add to their games. So I'm very encouraged by what I've seen with the Edmonton Oilers, and I'm hoping that they can bring it to the next series against whoever that may be.
Nicely done. You know what I'm noticing? A lot of drunk people.
Yeah.
like just absolutely faced.
Yeah.
Faced. Straight up. Yeah. Faced. All right, Hernan, your thoughts as we wind down this post-game show and close out the series here.
Yeah, just happy for the fans. What a time for them. This team is an absolute wagon. When they're playing like they have in the last 2 games, they're going to be a hard out for all the teams remaining. And we move forward, Tommy. We'll get some rest. We'll get some days off here, and I'm very happy we have Friday off heading into the long weekend. And here we go, boys. Round 3. Let's go.
I love it. Onward and upward. That was a highly encouraging series. Great to see the resiliency from the Oilers. And I like what you said multiple times tonight, Bellsy. They're winning different ways. They're confident playing in different types of games. And they continue to get the job done. The Oilers off to the conference final yet again. 3rd time in 4 years. Knock it off the Vegas Golden Knights in 5 games. Kasperi Kapanen, the only goal tonight. He gets it done 7 minutes into overtime. Your Edmonton Oilers off to the Western Conference Final. We'll see if it's the Winnipeg Jets or likely the Dallas Stars. A huge thank you to Connor Yakubuski, Melody, who put up with us and the Nasties. Fantastic staff here at Hudson's White Avenue. It's always a great time. We will let you know what the plan is for round number 3. We'll be on location yet again. Belsey, good work tonight, my friend.
Yes, sir.
All right, for Shawn Belle, for Reid Wilkins, for Hernan Salas, I'm Tom Gazzola saying thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you guys so much for watching. We appreciate it. We will see you tomorrow. That'll do it for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream post-game show. Your Edmonton Oilers off to the Western Conference Final. Have a great night.